what's bad? Shaggy memes. There, I get it out of the way. Welcome to Family, everybody.
Once again, I have to come on this podcast and defend Scooby-Doo.
I'm not bashing Scooby-Doo. I'm saying, hey, this was funny a day ago, and now it's not.
Yeah, like I'm normally not that up on internet culture, but goddamn, like within like 8 hours, I was like, all right, I've seen everything I need to see of this meme.
The other thing is, I've lived through this meme twice already, in the form of Vin Diesel, and then in the form of Chuck Norris, and now it's Shaggy, and I'm like, all right, this is the bottom of the comedic barrel. Please, no more.
This is the fascinating thing. I completely missed the Shaggy meme, and then I saw the meme. Oh, well, this is just Chuck Norris memes. I was like, okay, I get it now. I get it. I haven't seen any of them, but I get it. But I get it. I get what's going on.
Same joke. It's a human being is grossly overpowered. Ha ha! Don't put him in Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. Ed Boon's not going to put him in Mortal Kombat.
I'm aware of this because that game is almost done, and there's no point in going back.
He took a look and he was like, no.
Oh, he did do a drawing of Shaggy and then like stuck him in like a Mortal Kombat screenshot fighting Scorpion.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
I think
that's funny. I think that and Matthew Lillard being like into it completely is great.
Well, let's be honest, what's Matthew Lillard doing right now?
Yeah, but he's a cool dude, right?
Hey, he was on Twin Peaks and he got his head blown up.
To be fair, he's become like a that guy now. Like he shows up in like really good TV for like 2 or 3 episodes and then just goes away.
Shaggy Rogers, damn it.
But have you seen one of his last movies? It was an Uwe Boll movie.
Oh no, which one?
He also does that to pay the bills.
It was In the Name of the King, where him and Ray Liotta have like a scene where they're essentially dueling with bad acting.
Wait, wasn't?
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
Wasn't that the one that what's his face? Jason Statham was in.
So
yeah.
You know what he's doing right now? Like
Dungeon Siege movie.
You know what he's doing? He's actually voicing Shaggy in a lot of like Scooby-Doo stuff.
Of course
he took over for Casey Kasem. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's a good Shaggy. Like.
Yeah,
he did a good job. Not complaining about that.
If you go back to those movies and you're like, what's good and what's bad here? He's not in the bad category, I would say. So yeah.
Anyway,
we have
get this show on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a news episode for everybody, so we have an after. I'm Connor McGraw. Who else is here?
Yeah. Arlen Haro.
I am Kingdom Hearts cult leader Hunter Davenport. Welcome to my flock.
There'll be none of that in this show.
Not yet. I'm biding my time.
Cool.
Mostly because we don't have the time.
Drive this van into the ditch.
You know what the worst part about it is I feel like I can't make any jokes because they would require like 30 minutes of setup.
No, you can't even make a reference because I would be like, what the fuck does that mean?
I know.
I watched a whole video that you would think would have explained it to me. No, I'm more in the dark.
Watch the right video. All right, I'm telling you,
It's actually okay. This is the only thing I'll say about it is like if you break it down, it's not as like insane as you think it is.
It's really not. Like I watched 1 or 2 videos and I'm like, oh, that all actually makes sense.
Yeah,
but
the problem is there's just so fucking much of it.
Yeah.
The problem is whatever point they're trying to make or message they're telling the story is now 13 layers thick of bullshit.
Yeah. It's
like to get to that, you have to move nonsense out of the way. And I'm sorry, I'm not cutting through 35 people who have X's in their name. That's not happening.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
All right.
Eric. Okay. Yeah. I'm Eric Fedorchak, and I am now working on my new theory that the DC universe and the Kingdom Hearts universe is connected because I'm at a point where I'm fighting a tornado in it.
Blockhead shows up in the background.
Weird place for John Kent to cameo.
Exactly.
You gotta let him die, Zora, or whatever.
Wait, isn't Daffy the healer?
Yeah. Well,
You gotta let him die, Daffy.
Sometimes he is when he feels like it. Anyways,
Those are the times when John Kent's like in the corner, like Taffy.
Okay,
Taffy
it's a
died.
dark show.
Fuck.
So we do have a lot of news. So did we want to address Legends? Actually, we didn't really talk about this pre-show.
I didn't watch all of it. I said it last week before I felt like I had a demon in my stomach. Legends certainly is a season this season.
I think the sum of its parts isn't as strong as its individual parts. Like it's as a season, it's not the best.
And it's just more of the same from last season, which they haven't like 1 to 2 was great, and then 2 to 3 was great, and then 3 to 4 is like, oh, you basically did this last season, but okay, like it's not terrible, but I'm not excited over it.
I do think they're spinning their wheels a little bit. That's fair to say.
Yeah, and
the first string of episodes, like after what I thought was the end of the Amaya thing, I'm like, oh, we're still doing this.
Yep.
Well, but they've done some interesting things. I think that they're going some interesting places. Since you guys since not everybody's caught up, I feel like we can't really talk about the stuff that they did that was interesting. So yeah.
Well, the giant squid monster one was great. I love the fact that the opening of the show was all in Japanese too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's why I like Legends as a whole. I also like John Constantine, but that's
the whole Japanese episode's a better version of the George Lucas episode, so that was cool.
Yeah, it's Legends. It's still even with our lukewarm reception to it right now, it's still good.
Fine television.
Yeah.
I'd still say it's the one that I recommend to other people. So, yeah.
On the CW front, I found that meme earlier where it says CW renews all 5 of their superhero shows early just to flex on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. Oh, that's funny because it's true.
Yeah, it's they've got the momentum, and unfortunately, Netflix was playing with somebody else's toys. So,
and I saw a comment was like, "What does Flash have to flex over Daredevil?" And someone was like, "A 4th and 5th season." I was like,
"Wow."
A good like, 3rd season.
Can't even argue that.
Jesus Christ!
Even if I would let season 4 die in a fire. Season is not bad. Actually, this season is probably one of the more interesting ones of the recent show of the shows recently. Anyway, before this turns into actually, that's like the first item. The CW renews everything.
Well, that was the main stories. We had a few speed round things to cover real quick.
Yeah,
mostly the name speed round.
CW renews Black Lightning, Arrow, Legends, Flash, Supergirl, and would you guess it? Supernatural.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
I can't believe it. The little show that could.
What?
Yes. I mean, it's already all over Connor's Instagram. But if you told me this as a very young, not even a teenager, preteen, that Supernatural would still be on the air, I would have acted very violently towards you.
It's fascinating to find your threshold for murder as a kid.
I was a very angry young man.
So, like, I can't believe this underdog came in and got, what, a 17 season?
The show could do it, but they managed to get to...
Yeah, I never thought that this...
Joke, but here's the thing. In season 3, it really was an underdog. It's one of those shows where the fact that it's still on, I'm like,
no shit.
This isn't real. This isn't. How is this real? How is this still happening? Who is doing this? Who is responsible for this?
That's the thing I know about that show in general terms is like, was it season 9 or season 10 was when it was supposed to end?
5. It's supposed
5.
to end. It's season
okay.
5.
God.
Well, I
so it's
saw
gone
like
on an
what
extra
the
10
last.
years.
I saw what the last episode of that season was supposed to be, just reading about it. I'm like, okay, that seems like a natural endpoint. And then it's like, nope, keep going.
Like if that
so there's
Scrub
a
spin-off went on
cliffhanger
for
that
10 more
leaves it
years.
open. Yeah.
There was a Scrub spinoff?
Yeah, and it's actually not the worst thing ever. The problem is it doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be. Like, it doesn't know if we're going to continue the story of the old characters or we're going to start a crop of new ones, because they just kind of like every other episode they change the focus of who they actually want the show to be about, and it just doesn't land.
Oh yeah, this is about the interns, right?
Yeah, it's still I would argue that it's very funny.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, I guess. I mean,
like, there's a great Dr. Kelso gag right in the first episode where he talks about how his wife died, and they're like, "How you doing?" He's like, "Well, you bottom out, you press on." And JD goes, "How long has it been?" He goes, "About 2 days," and gets it.
That's amazing.
But I've only seen a handful of episodes of Supernatural. I don't hate the show. It's just every time it gets renewed, I'm like, who's watching?
A lot of people.
But then I realize I live with someone who watches it, so and I can hear her marathoning through the wall sometimes. That and Ghost Adventures.
I also imagine there's a whole lot of people who write /fic that are continuing to support that show.
I'm sure there are people who only watch it because they think those two men are pretty.
Like 25% of Tumblr has to be Supernatural.
It was. Yes.
And then the purge happened.
And now it's all Nazis. Literally.
Like, adult content, they were like, "We'll take our fucking bag and go elsewhere, man."
Oops, all Nazis.
And then the Nazis moved in. Now it's just Nazis and bots.
Okay.
Nazis yelling at bots all day. Oh, which side to root for?
So who's writing /fic about each other then? Is it the bots writing /fic about Nazis, or the Nazis?
Nazis are giant organized nerds, so it's probably the Nazis.
Right. They're just writing very Aryan-focused fanfic about it.
And since the robots started kissing,
and
then they slowly took off each other's exoskeletons.
Gentlemen.
Then Flash killed all the people who were of color, and
oh no.
Iris is dead, Joe is dead. Most of the characters that you care about outside of Barry are dead.
It's a very boring show now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's why Flash characters weren't a big part of the crossover, because most of those characters would be dead.
Also, let's be honest, like, I think most of the petulant fanboys of the Flash want Iris dead, so I mean, we did too for a minute, but that's also not the only thing we talk about.
Yeah, but she also made a real quick turnaround in season whatever.
Oh, there's also still people who are like, "You like your Felicity show?" I'm like, yeah, that has been a problem in 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so CW Renew Everything, as we kind of expected them to, because as Ed once pointed out, those shows are going to be around for fucking ever.
Yep. Probably.
Yep.
They're gonna surpass Supernatural probably at some point.
Arrow's gonna get to season 17. It might not be Amel and everybody who's currently there, but
by that time they'll have Connor Hawk, and then
Well, and they've already.
By that time,
we don't
timeline 3 times.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Every
we
time
don't know what's going on
like,
with his sister, but yeah.
Every time someone just wakes up and like something about the universe is different, and they just call Barry like, "Will you fucking stop it?"
I hope by the time I'm in my 50s and the world is on the brink of nuclear war, that we finally get to see an Ollie with the Van Dyke facial hair.
Yeah.
I mean, we almost got it, but I feel like he wants it more than like the people running the show want it. So
yeah, I think that's
just an episode, please.
I think that's what we get the season that he leaves. The season that he's like,
"Yep,
I'm off. I'm gonna do the Van Dyke, and you can't stop me."
Yeah, well, they'll have his character. They'll have him do it for an episode, just because that'll be the facial hair he grows when he's in witness protection or something.
Do that shit that Bruce Willis
the very
during
least,
Cop Out, like,
episode,
well, you're gonna get to be Green Arrow. So there's more Dune news, and
yes,
I kind of care about Dune. I'm just waiting to see something.
How can you not care about Dune at this point with the cast that they've had announced so far?
It's got Mary Jane.
Exactly.
It's got Mary Jane. It's got Poe Dameron.
Anton,
and it's got Anton Silva.
It has like Javier Bardem was in a Star Wars movie, right?
No, he was in a James Bond film, and
he
and he
wasn't
was
in
in
a
No
Star Wars
Country.
movie.
I'm thinking of Benicio del Toro. I was about to say, if they get
Yeah.
one more Star Wars guy,
Right.
Yeah, well, you never know. There's still roles to be cast.
Yeah.
But I mean, Oscar Isaac is a huge pull for me, and Javier Bardem. Bardem is amazing. Like
this guy,
I rumored at this point, or at least it's not written in stone. But he would be so good in that movie. Oh
this
God,
casting, whoever's doing casting for this movie needs like 7 races.
yes,
it shows that they know their stuff and they're going for heavy hitters, which is good because Denny I think he needs it. He needs big names to sell this movie. Because
I also think like if you're gonna do like Dune, like having familiar faces will help tremendously.
Definitely, yeah.
I also just hope that people can fucking see this because I guess nobody went out and saw Blade Runner.
Yeah, and I think that had a lot to do with marketing, and also people don't care about Blade Runner as much as some people like to think. So,
yeah. Well, that was like a cult movie for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think the difference here is that like Dune has its fingers in everything. Like Dune has influenced every science fiction thing that came after it, after the book, after the Jodorowsky's Dune art book, and so on and so forth. That's why the spice shows up in Star Wars. So yeah,
that Jodorowsky book never actually made it out into the public. That was just his. Like Dune Bible.
But it made it around the rounds in Hollywood. It was
in Hollywood. Yes. But yes. I mean, that's
but you get what I mean, though. George Lucas saw that book, and you can't look at that fact and say, "Well, that had nothing to do with."
Oh yeah, and then
that book, and then when Jodorowsky asked for it back, George went, "What book?"
So what is this book? I'm not going to steal half of these designs.
I can't read, so why would I want a book?
He sees the sandworm. He's like, I'm going to put that on a
moon. No, but Dune is one of the bizarre like sci-fi books. Not even bizarre, but it's just bizarre to me that it falls into the same place as like literature, to use that in a very broad sense. Like people don't look at it strictly as a sci-fi book. They look at it as like a work of important literature, which is kind of impressive.
It's kind of the same as like the Philip K. Dick thing.
Yeah.
They're like they're similar, but
there's a context to him though that's slightly different. But I think you're not wrong.
Yeah, I love him. He's
Philip
crazy.
K. Dick he certainly looked at higher than say H.P. Lovecraft, who doesn't get as much respect for some fairly good reasons.
It's fine.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, Lovecraft, it's more about what he inspired than anything else. But like Dune, at least the books that were written by Frank Herbert are actual really good books. Like I've read.
The thing with Lovecraft is that like my roommate expressed interest in reading, and I gave her my H.P. Lovecraft book. She's like, everything sounds interesting and premise based. She's like, I can't fucking get through this.
Mm-hmm.
So his writing's not for everybody because one, he tends to make up fucking words, and he also writes in a way that no one would speak in or want to write in. So.
Yeah, that and what he named a cat.
He likes to drop N-word every once in a while.
But compared to Tolkien or
I could see C.S. Lewis kind of falling into that, but I don't know. But yeah, Tolkien would be a good choice. But I don't know. There's something about Dune that, and I don't know if any of you have actually ever read any of the Dune books. I'm guessing not.
Well, I'm afraid of it.
That's the thing. It's not
like
that difficult, but he created a very full world within like, what is it, like 300 pages? I think maybe 400 is the first Dune book. It's really not that long, but it was so well thought out and so well executed that it all falls together so well. And I understand why people have been chasing it for so long.
I know the basic details, and it's just a very ambitious
It is.
It's very like
So
realist. So I'm excited to see it on like a movie screen.
I just want a sci-fi movie that isn't Avatar to do gangbusters.
Yeah.
That,
I
and
like
I'm
that as
hoping
well.
I'm hoping Oscar Isaac gets to say the tooth, the poison tooth.
Fear is the mind killer.
It's really no one. David Lynch, Dune, Duke Leto.
I've never seen
I
it.
recognize it.
Just
Oh,
Dune,
come on.
it's so fucking long, it's not even funny.
Oh man, it's so fun.
Here's the
All I
thing,
remember
I go
is
back and forth
Batman
on whether that's a
out.
good movie. So
Eric, I'm like 12. I don't.
Yeah, I forget. I'm 985 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've
This is the
seen
thing,
it.
Eric,
Like,
he doesn't get to have that excuse because I saw that movie when I was 5. So yeah,
God,
I was too busy watching movies like Kangaroo Check.
and
fucking
and
dare
Teenage
you.
Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
Yes. Yeah.
But more movies. This one pleases me a lot because I didn't know that these two things were directly related. Because I heard Nicolas Cage was going to do an H.P. Lovecraft movie. He's going to be in a Colorado Space adaptation. I was like, fuck yeah! After seeing Mandy,
Yeah.
and I was like, and then they're like, and Richard Stanley is going to direct it, and I was like, excuse me.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering if that documentary did a lot for his personal brand in making Hollywood be like, yeah, maybe we should give him a chance again.
Yeah, I think it did. I think
There's
it
like
was a
there's
good
whole-
PR at the very
watching
least.
that documentary, going like, oh, they'll come for me.
I will be there.
I also feel like it's enough years removed from that Moreau movie for the studio execs now to not be the same execs. Probably on any level. I bet there's maybe one person remaining, and none of them can do anything because this is an indie studio, so they can do whatever they want and not have to worry about any of the consequences.
You know what? It was
And
funny
it's
about
a post-Weinstein
fucking,
era and all that stuff.
Yeah, what's funny about his exile is that like half of that movie, even less than it, can be contributed to Richard Stanley because they just brought someone else in who then just kind of, according to that documentary, just was like, yeah, fuck it, this is dumb. Who cares? Let's just finish this.
Well, I mean,
his
that
actions
was
before he got kicked off that got him put into exile. That stuff can kill a career on its own. Without
and I wonder how much of that was Marlon Brando, and as funny as it is to say, Val Kilmer, their power in Hollywood at the time, like speaking down about him. So people were like, all right, well, the god of film right now said something, so we need to not.
Oh, luckily for him, one of them is dead.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
Val Kilmer isn't too far behind, sadly. So
yeah,
He's about 3 cheeseburgers behind.
oh, it's not even that. Like I thought he has
not even
throat
that.
cancer or something like that.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah, he has some
I did
sort
not
of
know
debilitating disease.
That's
So watch your mouth.
I'm sorry, I did not mean it. Val Kilmer, I'm sorry. Have your people call my people.
yeah.
Oh, I dropped something in the Discord chat. The first poster for the Guillermo del Toro Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh yeah, I saw it earlier. It looked fucking dope.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not impressed
No,
by it. That's
of
why
course.
I didn't put it on the list. So.
No, you're gonna poo-poo it.
No, Arlen
Not
Arlen
poo-pooing
can get
it,
exci-
like
Arlen doesn't get excited over anything that's not a trailer.
that's true. That's very
and
true.
then you
It's a
watch one, and
poster.
then you're done. Yeah, but I mean, it shows they're at least going in the right direction.
But like, I can appreciate a really nice poster.
It is.
It's
It's
not
a
even
fine
nice
poster.
It is a visual indication that they're going to stick to the visual aesthetics of those books. That's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's fine. That's great. But also, like, if I just isolate that makeup and remove from the design, it reminds me so much of something that I would see in an older movie, and it just, I don't know. It might just be the way that it looks in the poster. Might be the way that it's edited.
It looks like the cover of a DVD you find in Redbox.
Yeah, kind of. A little bit.
Like
It's not.
like scroll down too far in the horror catalog on Netflix, you're like, oh, no.
This is a movie?
Like if you change the title to Scary
I thought it was a
Dark,
TV show. Okay.
Yeah.
Scary dark, yeah.
If you change it to like or dark stories, or you know what I mean. Like if you change the title just a little bit, I'd be like, "Fuck this movie! I have no interest in this." But because it says "scary stories to tell in the dark," I'm more interested because like, okay, it's camo, and okay, I guess I should give this a chance. Right, the big scare.
Big scare.
The big scare.
How spooky.
The big spookums. Yeah.
The worst.
Anyways.
The worst.
There's nothing else to say about that movie in particular, but I'm glad Richard Stanley is coming back to fucking
yeah. And I kind of hope he knocks it out of the park too. Like if he can come back and do an H.P. Lovecraft adaptation that does gangbusters, like how good will that make him look, and how wanted will he be within the horror community film wise?
Exactly. And I believe Elijah Wood's producing this one as well. And Elijah's not going to let you go. He's not going to let you stray too far. He's a very good producer, from what I've seen. So even the movies that are bad that he's put his name on are at least interesting. So
well, that and what does he have to care? He has like $3 billion or whatever it is from the Lord of the Rings films.
He's busy fighting the pedophile ring that's deep rooted within Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like to imagine him just like he's got like a broadsword or something, and he's just going in there.
Go as his backup.
Yes.
Elijah Wood just like casually knocks on the door of someone's house and just cleaves them. Like
he leaves a decapitated horse in their room. Yeah. The music.
No, he just puts their heads on spikes in the front yard.
Yes.
Here we are. All right,
like,
so
again, I'll put you to fool me with Sasha Grey.
Oh God.
Not that kind of movie.
Do we want to move on? I don't know why this is in the main stories. The CBS Detective Frankenstein plot greenlit.
Oh, so Connor wanted to talk about wrestling stuff, so that's.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
So happening with WWE that is getting picked up by non-wrestling related news sites. And it's that two of their guys, one was granted his release and one is leaving after WrestleMania. The first one is an NXT guy, and for those who don't know, NXT is like their feeder system. It's where they put people they want to develop and make it to TV stars. His name was Hideo Itami. He was known around the world as Kenta. He's arguably one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and they just let him go.
Yeah. Also, they say that they want to make TV stars.
Yeah, and they bring them up to television and fucking just systematically destroy them. The second one is a bigger deal because the second one's Dean Ambrose. He's been arguably one of the biggest stars that company has created in the last decade. He's a WWE champion. I think he's held their tag belts, their mid-card belts, everything. He's been all over the fucking card. And he turned down a 7-figure contract because he's so vehemently upset with the creative direction of the company that he just wants to go.
It's like I think, like I was saying earlier, like the whole like part of the appeal of wrestling is like the crowd is kind of a part of it. It's not like it. The fact that this guy has ideas and then he's being told, no, you can't do that because we want this to happen. It's like you can't force like a business or like even an art form that is so vehemently reliant on the crowd. You cannot pigeonhole the crowd into something that they don't want.
It's like a movie. A movie audience cheering loudly isn't going to change the course of the story, but like audience reception can dramatically alter the way a wrestling product flows throughout like a year. And Ambrose has been trying to do stuff that's a little outside of the box for WWE, and they're like, no, seen this movie called The Dark Knight Rises? We just saw it recently. There's this guy named Bane, and we're gonna make you like a shitty version of him.
So they're gonna make him Shockmaster?
Is exactly what happened. They put him in this like fucking dime store gas mask and a fucking fur coat, and made him walk around with like a SWAT team for a couple of days, and everyone
so dumb
all over it. And his motivation for this was because he did a segment a few weeks prior to this where to get heat on a crowd, he did a sketch where he went to a doctor to get vaccines because he thought the people of the city were gross. You mad?
Is Vince like okay? What the fuck?
This is where I have to. So, what?
I love
fuck?
It's so remarkably good or bad that Arlen has to be like, what?
Oh, we talked about how there was a year or so where I was actually not into wrestling, but I was paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And it has fallen a lot, I guess, from when Randy Orton was literally trying to kill Triple H.
Yeah.
Or at least that was the storyline. Like, he was like, I will kill Vince McMahon and Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, like a fucking serial killer, like fucking cicada.
He was intent on crippling the whole family. He just beat the fuck out of Stephanie on TV and then made out with her unconscious body. It was really off-putting. And we've gone from that to you people are dirty, so I'm gonna film myself going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You know,
that'll make those people mad. Also, your sports team is unremarkable.
Well, they do that all the time now. They're just like, oh, the fucking Steelers, huh?
But it's bad because not too long ago, a tag team called the Revival, who are a really good throwback old wrestling tag team, asked for the release. There are rumors about lots of other people asking for the release, and this is on the heels of an announcement coming from Cody and Chris Jericho about them starting a professional wrestling company with the owners of the Jaguars, who are actually billionaires, are backing this thing.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense then.
So there, we stand a chance of seeing an actual competitive wrestling environment for the first time in a long time.
Wait a minute. The football team, the Jaguars.
At the Cons.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they have money out the fucking wazoo apparently, and one of them is a huge wrestling fan, and that's how that deal got broken.
And one of them wants to kill Captain Kirk.
The other one is frequently by Luke Kang.
That is actually fascinating that they're doing that.
Yeah. But and apparently, like, Vince is trying to get people to sign on within the company for 5-year contracts. They're really fun to watch, honestly.
That is not happening.
The thing is, like, what little bit I know of the WWE, at least I don't know anything about current storylines, current rosters, or anything like that, but I know what their business is like. Stop running it like it's a goddamn carny show. Like, pay these people a livable wage, offer them insurance, and you would probably have people staying with you longer.
And stop micromanaging what is essentially performance art. Like, you can't get blood from a stone in this department. Like, you have to kind of let them be themselves, and then it'll work. Like, wrestling's most successful people were allowed to go be themselves, and for some reason, people behind this company just don't understand why their success stories are.
Well,
and also, not to make light of this, but when you put too many eggs in one basket, that basket might get cancer, which is not a joke about what happened to Roman Reigns. Like, that's an actual thing. Like, you spent all this fucking time putting all this energy into one guy, and you said, fuck everybody else. They're not important. They're not special. They don't matter. They're not the guy. Oh, shit. Our guy is potentially terminally ill. We don't have anybody. Put the belt on Brock Lesnar. Oh, he's not going to be here for the next 6 months? We don't give a shit.
Did you see that shit where he had his, like, first photo shoot in, like, years? Like, a decade?
Yeah, Brock had his first photo shoot since... That dude doesn't care.
He's like, he just shows up and he's just like, okay, I got the belt now, I guess.
Where's my $6 million? Thanks. I'm gonna go back to my farm now.
Like, fuck you, buddy.
I'm gonna go eat a whole cow after I unhinge my jaw.
I just ate the Big Show last week.
I think he has it on TV. Was it here where I came up with the Brock season idea, where like every now and then, or like every 3 years, in where the fuck, way up north, they have everybody just stays outside their front porch with shotguns in case Brock comes along to eat their livestock.
I vaguely remember you talking about that. Yeah,
I remember that, but I might have heard it on Movie Dumpster, so like it could be either way.
I love the idea of him just crawling through the land as this terrible creature that's there to destroy your livestock with his shitty sword tattoo.
Werewolf.
Basically, yeah.
That's sword.
What the fuck is that?
Stupid.
That thing was like 6 foot tall, 300 pounds. I was like, sir, it was just a Brock Lesnar. You can go inside now. Oh!
That's exactly what I was trying to think of, Arlen. If I knew where he actually was, his home base was, I would have been able to use something to replace Moore's, but works well enough.
But anyway, that's the moral of the story. WB probably has to do some kind of course correct or serious when it comes to maintaining talent. Their TV ratings are already dipping as it is, and the only good thing they've done recently is named Becky Lynch.
They just need to have someone make sure that Vince McMahon doesn't wake up in the morning, and everything will be okay.
Wow. Damn.
I would say that someone is Vince. He's the guy, although he's finally looking old and to be a complete asshole, but it's kind of gratifying to see him like, ha, you are mortal.
It's probably because the ratings are tied to his lifeline.
Yeah, it's like the portrait of Dorian Gray.
When they started Dip 2.0, he just turned into dust.
Yeah, he's like, oh no.
The contract. Ted Turner's like, yes. You thought Ted was out. Ted's been playing the long game.
But anyway, we can move on to the main stuff, which is lots of superhero.
Yeah, a lot of cape shit.
Yeah, it's going to be very capey.
What in the fuck?
Yeah.
Is this Detective Frankenstein thing?
Okay.
So,
all right. Okay. I love this already. I'm 100% in.
That's why I picked it, because I knew Hunter would support me on this. So CBS greenlit a pilot for a television series about Frankenstein, who is a detective.
Yes.
Yes. Unfortunately, the plot is he's already a detective, and then he gets brought back by, you guessed it, Dr. Frankenstein. Matter to me.
As long as he's solving crimes.
That just sounds like iZombie, and I'm infinitely less interested than I was before. I thought that this was just Frankenstein's monster from the time he was made, suddenly put into a modern setting as a detective.
This is the thing, until I see the trailer and he doesn't have bolts. And
here's how they make that better. He was a detective in the 1800s, and he comes back now.
Yes.
You know what the solution to every fucking crime is going to be? Throwing a little girl in the lake. That's all it's going to be. That's just solve. Throw her into the lake. There you go. Next time, Dr. Frankenstein, MD.
No, that's the season finale. Is a girl is drowned, and they have to find out who it is. And at the end, they realize it was Detective Frankenstein all along.
It sounds like the worst extra reboot ever.
And then, the last episode will be they'll figure it out it's him who killed her, and then they're going to send him away on an ice floe, and that'll be the end of the series. Because, God damn it, why?
And then the second season is in Alaska, and
this is the stupidest idea. Like, I'm generally open to this. It's just some dumb things. No, Hunter, it's a dumb idea.
It's a dumb idea, but I'm gonna watch the pilot, even if it's really bad.
I read this headline and thought for sure it had to be from like The Hard Times or The Onion or something like that.
Yep.
Because I remember years ago when Kirkman was pitching The Walking Dead, someone tried to turn it into a cop drama.
Yes.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. Yes. That'd be awful.
And then I saw that it's like
they were doing that a couple of times. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of like turning these things on their head, but like I can understand like cop drama Walking Dead would suck so hard.
And they recycled that script a couple times because it was at one point it became cops who were vampires hunting zombies.
What?
Yes. Yes, that's an actual thing.
Why is it like now instead of old cigar swilling idiots? Like I just think of like every Hollywood producer is fucking Tommy Wiseau from the Disaster Artist trailer. Like, oh, there's a man named Tommy. Maybe he vampire. I don't know.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around how do you do a cop drama that takes place in the Walking Dead universe? Like, would this be as people are slowly turning into zombies, or is it just
no longer cops? What is it? Trying to arrest zombies?
Yeah, are they just two guys who are so traumatized by everything that they're just like, no, life is normal. I'm a detective. I need to solve crimes.
That's the idea of John Bernthal.
My child.
The idea of John Bernthal and Andrew Lincoln just trying to handcuff a zombie.
And I'm sorry, sir. What's your name? Oh, Mr.
They can break off their hands.
Yeah. I'm just imagining the Law and Order theme, but at the end, it's like the spooky house music. The
it's just regular like a regular like Law and Order episode, but they put in like Halloween sound effects in the background.
Spooky House Volume 3. Yeah.
And to answer your question, Eric, of how they would do it, same way you take a Stephen King short story about a satyr who cuts lawns and you make it about recruitment.
But it just that like
almost makes more sense to me, actually.
Yeah.
I got Lawnmower Man works better than this fucking hypothetical idea.
Yeah, it does actually. Like it completely shits on the idea of what The Walking Dead was, which it's supposed to be a zombie thing. Not fucking. God, how? Just I'm broken.
Executives are dumb.
Executives
are really dumb.
As good as Eric was like, why? When I said that Hellraiser Judgment has like
no, my exact quote is they have one job.
Mm-hmm. Well, and here's the thing where this is where it breaks down into becoming like really sad is that there are so many networks and so many of like the networks subsidiaries and I can't remember what it's called, the actual people that air it in local cities. So many of them aired Night of the Living Dead on Fridays because it was free for them to air it, and they didn't have to pay anybody for it. And so a lot of these networks lived off of zombies for years, yet these executives had no idea what it was. So they had no idea what zombie movies were or what they meant to the culture until Walking Dead came out. So yeah, it's just it's really like, wow, there are people out there who are so disconnected from what people are actually watching that when they are forced to make the thing that people are watching,
they're
they
not
have
watching television.
Just burn it all down, start again.
They're sitting in their manners and like throwing darts at like an employer.
So what's your idea of what billionaires do? Because it sounds really mundane.
They're
throwing darts and spinning in their office chairs.
They're listening. Yeah, they're listening to Deflator Mouse and spitting out 15-year-old brandy because they requested the 18-year-old brandy.
On their yachts, trying to dump the bodies. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Elijah Wood comes in.
Damn it, you beat to it. I was saying, yeah, and then they're trying to figure out how to stop Elijah Wood from discovering them.
And then he fucking crashes into the window with his fucking broadsword and just starts decapitating people.
I love broadsword Elijah Wood.
He's on the order for this week. It's happening. Oh God.
Can we just have Elijah the Claymore? Like,
yes.
Highlander.
He's got William Wallace's Claymore.
He's, the hilt. He's like the middle of the hilt.
Yeah. He can barely lift it. This is gonna be good.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
What's
the next story?
This is the DC. Ben Affleck is not Batman anymore.
Yeah,
I'm not. Really, yeah, I'm not that shocked. I mean, it sucks, but I'm not that shocked.
Yeah, it's I can't think of.
He's been trying to leave this fucking role for like 4 years.
He has done everything but set himself on fire at this point.
Yeah.
Like how long ago did Justice League come out? Like 2 years?
Over a year ago now.
Yeah, like he's been trying to leave ever since Batman vs Superman. Like,
well, ever since Sad Batfleck. Hello, darkness, my friend. Ever since that happened, basically.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And there's this sentiment is shared. I feel bad for this guy.
Yeah, I feel bad too because he never really got a chance.
He didn't.
Everything that happened to this entire project with these DC movies was completely out of his control. The same with Cavill and the same with Snyder. This was something they were all in on, and then the studio just fucked it up and fucked it up and fucked it up, and now we're left with this disaster of a cinematic universe that is one but isn't one.
Yeah. Yep. And the fact that the two biggest movies in their canon are fucking Aquaman and Wonder Woman, which, don't get me wrong, cool. That's awesome that there's good versions of those, but how do you fuck up so bad that Superman and Batman aren't your biggest movies?
Yeah, why did that movie not be the biggest movie that summer?
Yeah.
There's no reason that should not have made Star Wars money.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's also no reason for Justice League to fail, and I think Justice League, as far as what it's supposed to do, actually a far worse movie than only half as entertaining.
I agree.
At least there's things about Batman vs Superman that I can sit and watch in a vacuum and go, that's fucking awesome. There's nothing about Justice League outside of some of the Flash stuff that makes me go.
It's ridiculous to me that they have such a huge property, and they were it's the biggest comparison I can make is EA Games and Star Wars. They have, they don't know what the fuck to do with it.
It's not this is their first swing at this fucking concept too. They've done Batman movies before. They've made good Batman movies and made bad Batman movies. They have made good Superman movies. They have made bad Superman movies. I don't understand how you don't look at own history and go, okay, that didn't work. That fucking did. Also, I don't understand how you can possibly have Batman vs Superman and Superman, the household names as far as comic book characters go, and they have now essentially been lapped by Iron Man and Captain America in the movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Anyway.
I don't know. It's a shame because I think Ben Affleck was actually quite good in the role. He brought the gravitas and the look of an older Batman to it.
I don't think there's been anybody so far who has hit every aesthetic checkbox that I need for a Bruce Wayne Batman.
Yeah,
he looks scarily like animated Batman.
He looks
Bruce Wayne.
Intimidating looking, and I've seen people call him fat, and those people are crazy because if that's your idea of fat, well, I have news for you. He looks threatening in just in a fucking a dress suit, and then he puts on the bat suit. And I'm like, he just looks like he is 400 pounds of muscle, and he can break my body by flicking me.
Yeah.
And when you put that in that suit, is
house
perfectly designed, and I still refer to the warehouse fight sequence in Batman vs Superman as fucking great. Everything about Affleck in that bat suit was. And Zack Snyder making a Batman movie. How much fun would that have been?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been at least interesting. Yeah.
Maybe. It depends on how much the studio got involved.
I already mourned this.
But yeah, this is more of what we already do, and this kind of goes into. I'm going to skip a story connected, which is Zack Snyder's returning to directing. And he's making a zombie movie on Netflix, and to that I say, gimme.
Yeah. Well,
I'll be curious to see how it is without James Gunn writing the script.
Wait, is Zack Snyder writing it? I think that's important.
I have no idea.
With the story, but that's not actually our next story. Our next story is Suicide Squad. So
yeah, but I didn't want to skip over. I didn't want to do a story and then come right back to Zack Snyder because he's still.
So, I'm actually all for this because, I think James Gunn Suicide Squad is actually a super interesting concept.
Well, it's DC getting what they wanted to begin with the first Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
they wanted that to be their Guardians of the Galaxy. They
have James Gunn, and it's I kind of want to see what he does.
Oh, I definitely do.
Yeah,
I will support whatever he does. I don't, if it's bad, oh well, it's bad. I spent $9 on a ticket.
Because Aquaman and what was the other one that just came out? Wasn't there another DC movie that was it's not bad?
Sam's about to come out.
But But like,
yeah,
it
that's
seems like they're almost turning a corner.
Yeah, it seems like it. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the fact that the next team movie they're gonna do is a Suicide Squad sequel. I don't know how to feel about that because
I just try to forget that
Yeah.
first movie ever happened.
Here's the
Honestly,
thing, like,
well, also
wanna
if
see
you look
Aquaman-
at their track record with team up movies, it's actually like that's the problem. Like if you look at their solo movies and you're just talking about quality,
yeah,
their solo movies are all good. Their solo movies are all perfectly fine.
yeah.
It's the team up
It-
movies
yeah,
where
but-
they've really messed shit up.
I think the inclusion of James Gunn is a big boost to that, though.
Yes. Yeah,
yeah,
I
and
agree.
I mean, he's also writing the script, isn't he?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
but
because
I'm assuming
the
the standard DC or Warner Brothers thing is going to happen, but less so it seems with this new
I
regime.
Well,
Go ahead.
James Gunn, oh my god, I can't believe I'm going back to this. But James Gunn wrote those Scooby Doo movies, and I think while they may not be, you guys might not think they're good movies. They're actually pretty entertaining. Like at the very least,
Entertaining.
yeah. At the very least, I think he can make a pretty fun movie.
I mean, in comparison to another team up movie they have coming out, I'll take this over I will take this current like nebulous concept over whatever the fuck I saw in that Birds of Prey teaser.
Okay. Okay, so that teaser, I don't care about it, and I don't understand why you care about it.
Yeah,
it's not even.
I care about it because
it's not something worth even having attention. That's why it's not even in this story.
I will.
It's not worth having an opinion.
All right,
I actually agree with Arlen on that.
Yeah, I'll be more excited when I see more. Honestly, or
it wasn't even a trailer. It was like, did they even call it a teaser? Like,
no, it was more like it was almost like that Joker test they did. You know what I mean?
Or that Deadshot test.
I'm pretty sure they called it a teaser.
Yeah,
did call it a teaser, and the difference is the Joker stuff got me intrigued. The Birds of Prey thing infuriated me because I just test the look of everything going on there. I hate it.
Well, to be completely honest, the only thing I get any time spent on is Harley wearing the whatever the fuck she's wearing. So
and also Connor. Connor, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but us as upper like from 20-year-old to upper 30s white men, we are not the target audience for this movie.
Oh, bullshit! I was pretty excited about Black Canary on screen, but I guess not. Whatever. Anyway.
Well, no, you know what I mean. Like there's a reason they're making this movie,
and it's probably
there's
some fucking reason. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a very specific reason for why it looks the way it does and why the music is the way it is. It's there so that they can put this on an Instagram story later on, and they can get young girls to look at it.
The one thing I will give this movie is I am really excited to see Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. I think that's super interesting.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah,
I'm super I'm glad they're making like an all female like team up movie, but like at the same time, I really not that interested.
I wonder which member of the cast he's going to start dating. Ewan McGregor, that is. I mean, being that it was what's her face in Fargo season 3 that he left his wife for, and yeah, nobody. Anyways, what's the next story?
I think that is the Zack Snyder thing, actually.
Okay, the zombie movie.
Yeah, so Army of the Dead. This is all from memory. It's a Netflix production. He found the writer of the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was his idea. It was something he wanted to do.
Got Adam Driver. It's got me, America's greatest actor, Adam Driver.
It's another zombie movie. But yeah, it's his production from beginning to end, and it's described as a heist movie with zombies. So
that's kind of cool, I guess.
It could be.
I mean,
I don't know. We'll see.
I can't think of the top of my head of many heist movies that have zombies in them.
I don't think there are any.
Yeah. So
I would like some clarification. Is this during the apocalypse as it's all falling down? Is this post? Is this
will this be better or worse than Hurricane Heist?
Actually, that's the real question.
Yes.
that we should all
It's
watch
her.
this game.
That movie.
Oh no! Wait, hold on. What is Hurricane Heist?
Okay.
You don't know about Hurricane Heist?
Oh,
It's
do you
on
remember-
HBO Go right now.
Connor, do you remember Geostorm? Do you remember seeing?
I remember it happening.
Yeah, it came out along the same time.
Yes. And it's a movie about a heist set
During a hurricane.
I will.
Oh, Connor, the best part about it is the hurricane has a skull face.
Yes,
What?
it does.
Yes.
And there's a
Movie?
scene with people in semi-trucks trying to outrun a hurricane.
Yeah. Fantastic film.
Okay, first of all, Hurricane Heist is like calling Jaws Big Shark.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Secondly, I'm very tired of people scenes where someone's running from weather.
Like, I don't understand how Geostorm and Hurricane Heist came out around the same time, but like,
Same way that White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen came out 6 months ago.
Yeah.
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 Or Dante's Peak and Volcano, or whatever the asteroid movies were. Yeah,
Doesn't Tommy Lee Jones shoot lava with a pistol in Volcano?
I don't know. I haven't seen that movie.
Stay back!
I haven't seen either of them. One of them is
Yeah.
shot in Idaho, very close to here. So yeah, I don't know.
I've seen Dante's Peak, but it was years ago, and I remember seeing Volcano. Far more recent than I saw Dante's Peak. The thing I remember about Dante's Peak is somehow volcanic eruption makes water into pure acid.
Sure.
Absolutely
works.
sulfate, I guess. That
Sure,
was
yeah.
the explanation.
It made the water. It made like a small body of water lethally acidic.
Okay. Okay.
That's not how science works, but okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, somebody saw a documentary on the Salton Sea, and they were like, what if that happened instantly after volcanic eruption?
They had to cross like a body of water, but Pierce Brosnan's like, no, it's acid for reasons. And so everybody piles into a canoe, and then Grandma gets out and pushes the canoe across the water, and then she dies because burns.
Yeah.
But
Anyways.
if it can, if it can,
Eric, I can hear the gears in your brain. It's great.
what was the canoe made out of? Was it wood? Was it aluminum? Like, if it can eat through Grandma, it should realistically be able to eat through whatever material the fucking canoe is made out of.
No, you're thinking about it.
This is great. Okay, let's get back to Zack Snyder because the man deserves some credit. I'm actually surprised that
I
he's
think
come
this
back
is.
so soon.
I mean, I think this is a whole like, you know what? Warner Brothers did me dirty, so I'm going to come back and do something that's completely
But,
me.
like,
And
between
also,
that,
his child died. If you
Yeah,
don't remember.
between
Well,
that and his
yeah.
daughter.
But I'm saying, like, the way Warner Brothers handled his
Yeah.
child dying.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
they basically fired him right afterwards.
Yeah.
If we're to believe the stories that
The thing
have
is,
come
like,
out
they
recently.
fired him and tried to frame it as we're giving him time off to deal with the loss of his loved one. It's like, you dirty motherfuckers.
Yeah.
No, you aren't. You just fired him. Like, that's all that happened.
Going to his daughter's funeral and then pissing on her casket as it goes down into the grave.
Right?
Like,
There's the death
Yeah.
of his kid as a fucking framing device for your lateral corporate move, you douchebags.
yeah, like they man, it's like that whole it. I think there's nothing that will like sum up this whole WB situation more than that, because it's like those people are like almost subhuman. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting when like the best choice that they made, the best choice recently was when they said, "Well, we had to behind the scenes fire Joss Whedon because Patty Jenkins didn't like some of the decisions that he made about Wonder Woman."
Yeah,
That's the best decision that they made
Yeah,
in the
they-
recent
they fucking
time.
better.
Yeah, but that's not a matter of them being like, well, we're doing this for the good reason. They're doing that so they don't trip over their own dicks and piss off the person who's made them a lot of money. So it has nothing to do with their actual talent. It's still them just looking out for their own best interests.
Right. It's still really shitty.
Yeah.
Their actual reasoning.
No, it's bullshit. Like they shouldn't like it. It's complete and utter bullshit.
We talked about this. It was them trying to get their raises, their paychecks, early.
Yep, before they all got fired.
Yeah. So
I'm still having a vision of cigar chomping executive at Zack Snyder's daughter's funeral and just like, she looks thirsty down there. You're fired.
And then Elijah Wood
for the loss of your son, daughter, whatever.
And then Elijah Wood descends from the ceiling.
I've had 34 kids die.
Of the outside.
Yeah.
I know. He jumps out of a cloud.
Yeah. No, he
Elijah Wood's in the coffin. He jumps out and decapitates the executive.
Yeah.
Zach, I'm sorry your daughter got fired for life. Speaking of being fired.
It jumps onto the coffin and then the Twin Peaks music comes up. But yeah, god damn it.
I guess the main story is The Boys.
Yeah, fuck the
Boys
seven.
trailer. Which feels like it came out forever ago, but yeah.
Like
I don't know.
Generally really like this trailer.
It's a really good trailer.
Like there's something about fuck the seven, which is amazing.
That was my favorite part of the trailer. Fuck the seven.
I've read the entire series before, and even with it being on Amazon, there's some things that they wouldn't even try and do on this show. That, case in point, there's a storyline in it called Herogasm. That's all about where the superpowered people of the world go to blow off steam for a couple days, and the prostitutes there are taking a drug or a watered down version of the compound that makes superhumans so they can actually survive having sex with superhumans.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
There's some very dark there's some very dark stuff in this comic, and I'm curious to see how far they're going to go with this TV show, because I don't know if they can or if they have the balls to.
It's on
It's
cable.
Seth Rogen, so
it's on Amazon. Yeah, I get that, but there's some things that happen that.
Well, I bet. I honestly,
sci-fi adapted Happy, and that blows my mind.
Once again, there are some things that happen in this comic.
No, Connor. I know what Eric's talking about. There's a lot of shit in this that's not gonna be like. It's not gonna be 1-to-1 no matter what they do.
Yeah, like Happy, I watched a few episodes of it, and it's actually a very faithful adaptation of the comic.
Yeah.
But
there I can guarantee you at the very least there will be some implications.
So this is technically on a premium, this is a premium service. This is I'm sure that there's a higher ceiling for risk.
Sure
there's an issue where Wee Huey goes down on his girlfriend and doesn't realize she's having a period.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's one of those. It's one of those.
All right. Here's the thing. I think the stuff that will be taken out is stuff that might be considered in bad taste. And I will
that's going to be
that category.
There's going to be a large swath of the comic missing then, because maybe I'm hyperbolizing a little bit, but there's a lot of that comic is very mean-spirited, like very mean-spirited, and I don't think anybody realizes that.
Yeah, I guess my only context is like Preacher, and I don't know how close that is, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, Preacher 1-for-1 wouldn't work as well.
Preacher I'm sure angers people just based on blasphemy, and it's on people.
Well, retarded Jesus will do that. But I would think.
that's actually better and I think more offensive than what's done in the comic. So, I mean, if they can walk that line well enough with the boys, cool. But there's so many things from reading that comic that I'm concerned how it's going to translate. Like, it seems like a cool idea, and if they just go with the base premise, which is the boys are a bunch of CIA-funded guys who basically police the superheroes. Okay, cool. I'm okay with that. Just if you try and get into the insane hijinks, then you're going to start to run into some problems.
Find a happy balance between the two.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I don't have Prime right now, so I'll have to find other ways to see the show. Yeah,
is the one subscription service where I'm like, I don't know, I think I have too many subs for other things already.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the same price, and I didn't get free shipping on other things, and a lot of other free services. I wouldn't have Prime.
Yeah,
and I also have a student discount, which helps quite a bit.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So yeah,
DC Universe, which is what, $8 a month.
Nope, don't want to pay that much for it.
Yeah, I don't need it yet.
Nope.
Yeah.
Almost like I'm not somebody who would buy that service early for a whole year before it's even tested.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, find yourself going, there's no content left for me to absorb.
I'll have to read old issues of Superman. Oh darn.
Well, from some of the things I've seen posted, they actually do have a pretty wide swath of comics available. So.
Yeah, that's
cool. No reason I get it if I get it. There's still a free trial, right? You can still sign up for that.
Yeah, there's still free.
That's like 7 days though. It's not.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's enough for me to dip my feet in and go.
And you can do a lot in 7 days.
I mean, here's the thing. I logged on and I was like, oh, they don't have every DC movie yet. They have like 25, and I was like, this isn't worth it for the person who wants everything. This is worth it for some of the uber nerds that we may or may not know who like DC regardless and who just want to support it.
Because DC needs all the help they can get.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and even though it didn't get included, I just wanted to say everybody should check out the Umbrella Academy trailer because it looks really good. And very faithful to the comic. But nope, had to cut that out. So anyways, next story.
Well, this is more Netflix stuff, actually. Well, this is more streaming stuff anyway. There's a announcement that there's going to be a Resident Evil TV show. Okay, hold on. Like, I'm very tepid with this because live-action Resident Evil has nothing but bad history.
Yeah, but okay.
I mean, it's a very specific situation, though, with a director and an actress with a history of shit. So,
I think, fuck, I can't believe I'm about to say this. The curse has been passed. You know what I mean?
Like, someone else touched the curse.
Another franchise near and dear to my heart is getting the treatment.
Hunter's name is in the title.
Every time one of those pictures pops up, I'm like, I can just hear Hunter's heart breaking.
It's every time I see anything, I'm just like, oh.
This looks like that fucking asshole took Alice from Resident Evil and stuck her in a Monster Hunter screenshot. That's all it fucking looks like.
One day, I'm going to go to Hollywood and find Paul Anderson or whatever the fuck his name is. Like I don't know. And I'm gonna fight him in the middle of the street.
Kill him with a xenomorph tail.
Yeah. Me and Elijah Wood are gonna go find him.
You're gonna jump out of the roof of the sky.
Yeah.
We're
gonna find him.
There was one sentence in this little announcement that had me worried, and I think it tends to worry people in certain situations. It was, we're going to expand on the rich universe of Resident Evil. I'm like, okay, stop.
Well, I wouldn't call Resident Evil a rich universe. I'd call it a fun universe, or like a one that I enjoy.
Like
rich?
I mean, the whole idea of Resident Evil
depends on what they mean by that, I guess.
And that's the thing. You can take that two ways. You can take it as like, we're going to do a show about Rebecca Chambers from Resident Evil 1. Like,
what they should do is a Umbrella office comedy.
That's actually not a terrible idea.
I don't know. Well, okay, so here's the thing. I do think that a show from multiple perspectives, a show that is not just like 2 or 3 main characters, a show from Umbrella's point of view, a show from the street cop, from a more normal person on the street, so on and so forth. Characters who are in the hospital when things go to shit.
Well, like they could do like an Ada Wong show, and that would probably be pretty cool.
They should do like half a season just on the architect of some of these buildings that Umbrella wants. Like, we need you to build this police station this way. Like, why?
But in the mansion have several doors. Can only be opened with certain keys that have stone etchings in them. And behind those doors will be puzzles involving shields you have to remove from statues, but don't remove it too fast, or the spinning sword blade thingamajig behind me will come hurtling at you.
Is this
above this fireplace? And then when you take the shotgun off, the ceiling will collapse on you. Why a shotgun? I don't know.
Is this library graded for giant snakes yet?
So I also love the Resident Evil 2 explanation for why the police station is the way it is. They go, "Why does your police station have secret passageways and elevators?" Oh, it was an art museum. Why does your art museum have secret passageways and elevators?
There's also a great note you can find where they're like, "Yeah, the chief's really fucking paranoid."
Well, I thought I had read that the idea was the architect of that place was murdered because he was the only one who knew all the secrets of the place.
It has a weird kind of history.
The thing with that is that you can slide behind the whole like art thing until you get to the elevator in the main hall that directly leads to like a fucking series of Umbrella laboratories, and then you're like,
yeah, that's what I thought I had read. That like the whole idea was that they had an architect who built these places to be covers for Umbrella Labs, and then they killed them after they finished building.
In that case, like whatever happened to like key card readers, like that's still a thing. You can just hide a door behind a bookcase with a
favorite
scan.
My favorite version of that is in the Umbrella Chronicles. Like you can find like files, but they're like in vases in like light fixtures, and just the image of Umbrella employees just like hurriedly shoving like files into like the ceiling.
Bob, that's not a shredder, Bob. Exactly. It should be the foibles of the guy who...
Someone's like, we have files? Yeah, delete them. I can't. They're physical.
Yeah. I put them in a potted plant over there.
I do think the architect idea is interesting, because you cut to him and he's like looking at H.H. Holmes' blueprints. He's like, there's something in here. There's something.
These seem primitive.
But I mean, back to the idea of this, like they didn't really announce like what this is.
No. It could be one of those anime shows like Adi Shankar's doing, but I don't think
I don't want that. Because here's the problem: Resident Evil has a history, and it's not anime; it's those like digital movies that they did, that were really, really bad.
Yeah,
the last one they did was okay, but like it wasn't like
not degeneration. Where the last one was that had like
takes place in an airport.
Yeah.
There was one that had like Leon, Chris, and Rebecca, and like someone else showed up, and everyone was like, "It's so cool! It has like John Wick-esque gun fu." I'm like, that's not what Resident Evil is. And then I watched that movie, and it has two of the funniest things I have ever seen. One is when it just cuts to the villain, and it's his origin story. He's at his wedding, and it's just 2 seconds of footage where he looks up and a bomb falls in the wedding.
Yeah.
That's his origin story.
It's so fucking funny.
Everyone dies except him. Second part of it was like there's this whole sequence in a hallway. Leon and Chris are like shooting zombies in the head and like Townhouse kicking their heads off and blah blah blah. And there's a scene earlier where Leon like shoots a car that's in traffic being controlled by a human so that it like flies in the air and crashes into a bunch of zombies. I'm like, Leon just killed someone. The end of the movie, after they have massacred all these zombies, someone drops an airborne cure in the city and everyone turns back to human. I'm like, okay, are we going to address the 200 people that Leon killed in that corridor or what?
At what point do they take each other's shirts off and start kissing?
That's in the lead scene.
But those movies are only half good, and Resident Evil should be told, or at least spread out. I think there's a bit too much going on, so a TV show is kind of ideal for me. I just don't know what this actually will be.
Yeah.
And, the adaptations of Resident Evil because we have 7 movies that are all just
varying levels of garbage.
Yeah,
like that, and I'm just afraid
none
that
of them capture the tone of the games either. That's
No,
the biggest problem.
is that
with them.
people will look at that and go, "Oh, that's what that is." Then we need to do more of that.
Well, the one movie that tried to capture the tone of the game completely missed it, and that was Part 2. Because that was the only one that I felt like was really trying to be like the game.
Well,
They're like, see, it's just like the game, and they didn't understand that didn't work.
The first one tries to capture the mystery aspect, I would say, but yeah.
Yeah, and the first one isn't half bad.
The problem is the mystery's been busted open so far beyond this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, I really started to sour on these movies more than I did before, which I didn't think I could do when I found out that Paul Anderson was just robbing wholesale from the games in the cheap way. Like, I didn't realize that he had lifted the entire scene from Resident Evil 5 for choreography, lines of dialogue, and just pasted it into one of his fucking movies.
Well, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
He takes the scene, Sheva confronting Wesker, and takes almost every bit of dialogue and every move in this fight and just sticks it on screen and the fact that it's an homage. I'm like, that's not an homage. You just did what they did.
I generally think like I wouldn't have a problem with that, but it's so done kind of stupidly.
Yeah. And it's done in bad films also.
Yeah.
And by the time like those movies got to Wesker, the games were fucking done with them. And I think by and large the fan base was done with them because I'm tired of seeing Wesker just like spring up from what's supposed to be a sure death, and he's just like, like, blew you up. I got better.
Oh, whatever, man. He's a gun now.
Corbin turned into a gun.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2.
There's one detail. About this,
what's that, Arlen? What is the detail?
So they did say that there's a writer for this Resident Evil, and his resume is not great. He did 47 meters down. He did Strangers Pray at Night, which I've actually heard good things about those two, but they just did not look good to me.
Is Prey spelled Prey or Pray? Because that could be two very different movies.
Prey.
I heard that 47 meters down has a drop kick to your guts ending that I actually kind of respect. Repo Man is it just flies back to Jude Law, just brain dead, and they're like, oh yeah, he's fucking vegetable, and like basically the last 2/3 of the movie are all dead.
Interesting.
Along those lines.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He has other movies on here. Storage 24, The Other Side of the Door. Movies that do not look good. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this now that I've seen.
For writers I like. Oh, that was my transition to Wannel doing some.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we all. Did anybody else lose Connor there for a second?
Yeah, I totally did.
I was like Leigh Wannel, and no one reacted. I'm like the writer of Saw.
No. I my audio cut out.
Yeah, we just didn't hear it.
Leigh Wannel is writing an Escape from New York remake, and yes, please.
Okay.
I like Leigh Wannel. I know we've been the universe has been trying to get an Escape from New York remake made for God knows how long.
Like, I have no personal attachment to those movies, so
I don't either. But I know of people who are like older than me that do. Also, Metal Gear Solid fans have like an obligatory love for the series because of how much of it Kojima just shamelessly borrows.
Yeah,
I like Escape from New York is okay and all, but I don't know. It's not my favorite Carpenter. Like
I just don't have like I've seen it and I just don't have the reverence that other people do.
Yeah,
I
like
don't have reverence for it, but I watch it a lot, and usually I end up drinking. So like for me, it's a
like
it's a good memory there for me. So
music wise, I like it, and visually it's cool, but just the movie itself just doesn't stick with me like other Carpenter films do. I don't know why. There's
Assault on Precinct 13 sticks with me more. Like
God, I haven't seen that in forever, but yeah, I don't know. There's something about Escape from New York that just never quite hit that sweet spot for me. I don't know what it is.
Monkey
So, Jesus Christ,
it's not even. That's probably not even a John Carpenter movie.
oh, that's
Wes Craven.
Yeah, Wes Craven.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. That was a lucky guess. Yeah.
No, I'm excited. Mostly because it is Leigh Wannel, and I don't know if there's any movie that shows that he can match sort of that tone for me more than Upgrade, then I haven't seen it. Like I don't know.
Was Upgrade written by Leigh Wannel?
Yeah, it's written and directed by Leigh Wannel.
I did not know that. That's awesome because it's just one more thing for me to like about his career so far because I've kind of been a fan of everything he's been attached to.
Did Leigh Wannel do Escape Room?
Oh, he's a producer on Escape Room.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I heard his name in relation to that movie. I thought, but I might be crazy.
His hands are all over a lot of stuff because he's James Wan's producing partner.
Yeah,
and they came up together. So
okay, that makes sense.
Anywhere Wan is, his name will also usually be there.
Yeah. And I hope that never changes. But Leigh Wannel is. For some reason, that guy has turned Insidious into a series that I kind of have to see every time one comes out because I think his concept of the afterlife and ghosts is really fascinating in those movies.
Insidious has to be like the most like visually interesting horror in a while.
Those movies also because like in every one of them, at some point, an old woman is going to take a mundane object like a lantern or something and fucking Hulk smash a ghost in the face with it and send them flying into another dimension. It's fucking awesome every time.
Oh, I thought you were going a very different direction with that because I've seen some movies where an old woman takes a mundane object and does something with it.
No,
I'm sure you have, Eric. Now it's not the time to air your internet laundry list. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you should clear your history, buddy.
Nah, you don't. I don't work with that. I do that every day.
Also, it's the reason to put Lin Shaye in a lead role, and I love that. So.
Yeah.
But,
that was the most recent story about him. The other thing is kind of bigger, I guess, depending on what lens you look at it through. Blumhouse is taking over the Dark Universe. That's kind of a big deal.
Okay, how did this work? How did this come to be? Like, what did fucking Universal just go like, okay, fine, take it?
Like, you know,
I mean, like if you look at it, if you just look at it objectively, Universal, when they try to do horror without Blumhouse, it hasn't done as well.
No,
when they do it with Blumhouse, they get Oscar nominations and make some very successful movies. So.
Hey, guess what? This makes them smarter than Sony.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
So
that's 100% true.
Well,
so they have that going for them.
It also
is
seems
writing this Invisible Man movie. That's the other part of this.
Oh, cool! I'm into that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like the original inception of the Dark Universe. It didn't seem to actually be held together by anything other than spit and prayer.
I think what happened is they rushed into it and like
very crudely their movies.
Yeah, and then they saw it and they were like they did the opposite of a WB and they were like no.
Right.
Well, they did the opposite.
And now Alex Kurtzman has come out against it, kind of like saying that he had a bad time working on it and all that, which is interesting. Alex Kurtzman, who I don't like him as a person, but like hearing him talk about how it was a shitty experience, I'm like, I kind of feel for you, even though I do not like you as an individual.
You suck, but I understand your plight.
It seems like it's all supposed to start with the Wolfman, and then like they're like, okay, Mulligan, and then Dracula Untold, and they were like, okay, no, one more Mulligan, and then Mummy, and they were like, all right, we suck at this.
Which, how did the Mummy fail? Like, it's a Tom Cruise movie, and generally those at least
bad.
Okay.
It's real bad.
I know. I watched it. It's not great, but like still, like even most of the time, Tom Cruise movies can do at least an okay turnaround that they could justify continuing it.
I think like the bad like word of mouth about it did not help.
Right.
Like
also, they should have sold it on Tom Cruise is the Mummy. That's they should have done that.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have made that a reveal at the end of the movie. It should have been from the very beginning. Tom Cruise is the Mummy. This is his origin story as to how he becomes the Mummy.
Even just play with the fact that like he can't really be killed in the movie per se. Like do it kind of like what they did with oh god, whatever. What was the rename of All You Need Is Kill? Edge of Tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, Live Die Repeat.
Yeah, well, that was the tagline for it, but yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah,
like at least the tagline again.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't know what kind of universe they were setting up, because like at the end of that movie, he brings Jake Johnson back from the dead. So he's already OP.
Oh, you mean Oscar?
Like,
you mean Bizarro Oscar Isaac?
Well, like the movie should like you're right. He should have been the Mummy the whole time. But like
you should have, or it should have been like it should have been a reveal. But he was always the Mummy. Like he was. He's like Kaiser Soze at the end.
It's just to me, it's like I feel like that one part of it's kind of cool, but like the rest of it's just.
It also seems like they just didn't know what they wanted these to be, because
the
Universal monster movies, like everyone's like, oh, you mean those horror classics? And Universal's like, no, those adventure movies. What are you talking about?
No, okay, they should have one adventure movie where all the monsters in it, and then the rest are just horror.
Exactly. Well, even here's the thing. Action horror is a thing that exists. It's
Resident Evil 4.
Aliens. God damn you.
Yep.
Aliens is an action horror movie. That movie scared me as a child.
Playing on horror tropes.
Yeah, Underworld counts, it plays with horror tropes, and it plays with that sense of like fear and terror. But there are these insane action sequences full of gun fu and fucking people punching werewolves in the fucking dick or whatever.
I feel like people are like, I know exactly what I want for this movie. I want to see a Frankenstein fight a Wolfman. That's all I want. That like, show me that. That's all I want.
The closest thing we got to this is Van Helsing, and Van Helsing's dumb, but kind of.
I love Van Helsing.
Van Helsing is fine. It's aggressively fine with some very good moments.
You're forgetting Monster Squad.
That too.
That's the thing, that doesn't count. Like, he's not Emotep in that movie, which was something that really bothered me. He's not Emotep.
He's just a mummy.
A mummy. Yeah.
Isn't that all like
a zombie?
It's not the creature from the Black Lagoon. It's the Gill Man. Like
well, the creature is the Gill Man, but like it's just like the Gill Man, not the Gill Man.
Right. It's Dracula gets to be Dracula because Dracula's public domain.
Yeah.
It's the creature who is legally distinct from the creature from the Black Lagoon.
He looks fucking cool in that movie, though.
It's like that episode of Rick and Morty where what's his nuts has fucking scissors for hands, not scissors, butter knives. There we go.
I got scissors for hands. I can't pet my cat.
Represent butter legally distinct from the Lollipop Guild. Something like that. I mean, I'd like a cinematic universe that isn't Marvel to get the around. It's really nice.
Yeah, like Godzilla.
That also isn't Star Wars. That's been around for God knows how long, and also I don't really consider that to be like cinematic universe because it's encompassing.
Until it crashed and burned, I was all on board for the Ghostbusters universe, even though that was a bad idea. I've come to realize.
I watched a reboot recently, for the first time. I actually like the gadgets that are in that movie.
gadgets are cool. The tech is cool.
She
but
punches a ghost. It's fucking cool.
There's problems with that movie. Like, the tech is also like magic. Like, it's like it doesn't follow any rules. Like, there's not a consistent sense of what things do in this universe and how powerful things are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the remake?
Whereas the original movie, like, there's a very clear sense of like, this is what this does and this is what this does, and you should not mix these two things.
Also looks like they only had enough money to build 4 of those fucking things, and whereas the remake, it's like, we made this and we made this and we made this and we made this. Where are you getting the funding for all this?
One thing I really like about the originals, like, not to harp on this, like Ghostbusters train too real quick, is like they're constantly fucking up. Like the places they go into are always getting destroyed.
That's because the weapons they made are crude and destructive.
Yeah, they're fucking nuclear reactors.
That's what I love about
They exit that ballroom and it's destroyed. It's just like
the most raw kind of like it's like going to a cockroach cleanup and just a flamethrower.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm here to kill some cockroaches. What's that look I'm fucking doing?
I'm doing my job.
Here's a bill for the damages. Goodbye. Yeah, Dark Universe coming back. Hopefully, more horror stuff. Twilight Zone premiere date and casting. Who I didn't follow the details in this.
Yeah, they announced that it was coming back in April, which is really close to now.
That's soon.
Yeah, because I was actually kind of confused because it just said April. It didn't specify. I was like, April 2020, because that's kind of what I would have expected. But
Rock just comes through your window now.
Yeah,
it's a surprise release.
The real exciting thing is like the cast that they announced, like Tiesa Farmiga, fucking Ike, what's his face from
Ike Perlmutter.
Ike Perlmutter.
Brought some Subway sandwiches.
The infamous hater of cameras and being in front of them, Ike Perlmutter, is joining the Twilight Zone.
You can only have one, though.
Isn't it ironic that I hate being on camera, but I'm on the Twilight?
Ike Barinholtz, but yeah.
Just Google Ike Perlmutter, and the picture they have looks like it was created from other stock photos.
He kind of reminds me of like alternate like evil universe Lorne Michaels a little bit.
Well, wow. I'm sorry to derail it a little bit. I know we're on Twilight Zone, but I'm amazed when I googled Ike Perlmutter. There's actually pictures of what he looks like now, or at least relatively now.
There's one photo in my search results I have on Bing, and like it's just it looks like a profile photo. It looks like someone photoshopped someone else's head onto someone else's body.
Oh, you're talking about that super young picture of him.
Is that young?
I'm the one where he actually has dark hair and he's wearing a gray suit.
No. Hang on. Let me grab this one.
Yeah. Okay. I got the cast up in front of me, so now I can list
go ahead.
other names off. John Cho, Greg Kinnear, Kumail Nanjiani, Adam Scott, Rhea Seehorn, which I recognize, Allison Tolman from the first and for a little bit of the second season of Fargo. Yeah, just all those names on their own, and then Jacob Tremblay, who's a kid who's been in a bunch of stuff recently, and Steven Yeun.
That is a hell of a cast.
Yeah, and there's other people on here that I just didn't recognize. Oh, Sanaa Lathan. I didn't connect the name to the face, but yeah, Sanaa Lathan, Blade's mama from.
I know that name.
Yeah, Blade's mom.
Oh shit, that's right. Okay.
And the star of AVP.
Oh boy. I said the other day that I'm
the V in AVP.
Consistently surprised that Ike Barinholtz keeps getting roles that are not comedy, seeing as how he's of the many Mad TV alums who just probably should have disappeared, but he just refuses to.
He's not bad.
I don't know. I don't think he's bad. there are very few people who escape that show unscathed.
Oh yeah, he was like the only one, kind of.
Everybody else, like, they show up occasionally on a comedy thing.
Well, Bobby Lee
here and there.
Bobby Lee's mostly stand up now.
And Key and Peele are the only two people on the show you can say are runaway successes.
Yep.
Like Michael McDonald shows up occasionally.
Yeah, he shows up to get squished by a steamroller in Austin Powers.
Right. Well, he's shown up more recently, but he's always playing like a very intensive character with like a facial deformity, or something like that. I think he's in Ghostbusters, and he dies very gruesomely. Hunter, you watched it last night, so maybe you know what I'm talking about.
I honestly don't remember.
Hotel owner, isn't he?
Is he? Oh, you're right. He's the one who's like. Yeah, he's the one who's like making fun of Melissa McCarthy for being fat or whatever. Yeah, I think so.
Honestly, I don't remember most of that movie.
He's on Spy, and he's their Q, and he picks these gadgets that are like so mean to Melissa McCarthy. Like he gives her lotion that explodes. But it's like in bold letters, like Preparation H.
Jesus Christ.
It's like hemorrhoidal ointment. Yes, it's pretty great. Anyways, this is a tangent about Mad TV that we're on right now. But yeah, I don't know.
It's been on the show ended.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about Twilight Zone, I guess.
Yeah.
It's all good information.
Will be once like my eyes are on it, and I'll go like, "Holy shit, Twilight Zone's back!"
I really like Twilight Zone, so I'm glad it's coming back, especially with Jordan Peele.
I like TV horror and series format like this, where it's based, where it usually teaches the main character some horrific lesson that they won't live long enough to profit from.
I'm excited for an anthology show that is available that is not horribly depressing like Black Mirror.
Yeah, and I think Black Mirror, they kind of need to step their game up. I think they
need to double down on impressiveness.
Yeah, they're kind of falling behind.
They're falling behind the times because every time a Black Mirror episode comes out, and so they're like, "Huh, that's happening right now."
That's also a thing of like, watch the Waldo moment and just be sad, just cry into your popcorn. Because it predicts Donald Trump. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll be curious to see if the Twilight Zone, the Twilight Zone takes any cues from what Black Mirror has been doing. I mean, I know it's probably going to have to inevitably, just because of the idea of what Black Mirror is, the kind of horror sci-fi-esque anthology series, but I'm wondering if there's going to be a real feeling of like, this feels like a Black Mirror cast off for the first like couple episodes.
Oh, you mean that? You mean the thought process behind it is derivative of it? Thanks, Chris.
What?
Yeah, good one.
Chris posted arguably the worst opinion he's ever had. Arguably one of the worst opinions I've ever seen anyone have. He saw it and he said it was derivative trash. I'm like, are you fucking?
A derivative of Stranger Things is what he said.
It's derivative of Stranger Things. I'm like, do you know the words that just came out of your mouth? Like, this is the episode that breaks Eric. And when we explained to him that Stranger Things was derivative of it, he just short circuited and just started kind of spewing nonsense.
Like the creators of Stranger Things have even said, "Oh yeah, it was a big influence on us." Like the book, that the movie, it was based on. Like,
there's a book.
Fuck's sake.
And I think at one point he was like, "But Finn Wolfhard was cast because he's perfect for that role in both films."
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, well,
in both things, he's perfect in those roles. But
he just lost the idea of understanding why that thought was just asinine.
Grab it, throw it into a bazooka, shoot it into the sun.
But anyway,
But yeah, no, I think they're gonna have to take some influence from. I think,
and yeah, I mean,
better that way.
yeah, like going on what Connor's, yeah, like Connor said, Black Mirror is derivative of Twilight Zone, so is it's a tricky wicket, I guess, for lack of a better term, to really deal with, because you can't really take from one or do the same idea as one without it showing up again somewhere later, because I mean there's only so much that this particular type of idea works well for, and they're both walking in kind of the same field, so they can't really help but walk over each other's footsteps sometimes.
I mean,
they see coming from across the sides of the field and go, "I'll give you a wide enough."
Yeah.
But also to pivot to the next thing, the Stand was greenlit. Or Stephen King thing. I don't have an. I just know it was a TV.
I just put that. Yeah, it's all access though, so that's, I don't know. That just tells me that they're gonna put some time and money into it, because
hopefully
All Access likes to spend the money on things a lot.
I hope so. I would like something better than that TV movie to show up as an adaptation of The Stand, as long as it's better. Not that I've seen it, but as long as it's better from what I know of the Gunslinger adaptation.
I thought about that the other day, and then I almost cried. Yeah, I mean, anything will be better than that, I would assume. I don't know. I'm, like, everything All Access does, I'm judging it from the lens of, I really enjoyed Star Trek Discovery, so that means that they'll put a lot of money into it. Because if you haven't seen even, like, the pilot of Discovery, they just, like, spend movie level amounts of money on this shit.
Mostly because of the whole idea of, like, sign up for this other service to watch Star Trek. I'm like,
watch
the pilot on YouTube, I think.
Okay. I also heard that I hear that it might go to other platforms as well.
I think it will. I think it'll go to Showtime at some point. Maybe, I don't know. They'll also go to Netflix because they already have an international deal. So, yeah,
that's
it really depends on if All Access dies.
And the other story, which has something more visual to it, is a trailer for a movie called The Ground, which is a silly title. And then I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm all about it."
Yeah, I watched it at work the other day.
I didn't get to watch it. What is this?
It's an A24 thing. So
also, the story of Changeling?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like another one of those, but fucking crazy premise. Like, fucking crater forms in the woods nearby in Ireland, I think, and this woman's son goes into it, but then she brings him out. She's like, "That's not my kid."
Like it, yeah.
Oh, that sounds
starts going crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then there's a piece of the trailer where this old, like, creepy woman sees him, and she says, "That's not a child."
What?
It looks giving me Changeling vibes, and like after shit, what is it? I talked about this movie the other day, and I can't remember the fucking name of it, even though I loved it. Damn it, the other movie that came out a few years ago, where it's a family moves this this very woody area, and
The
Hallows, yes, there we go.
Yeah,
fucking rules.
Wasn't that one also in Ireland? I remember.
That's why I was like, this is probably a Changeling. But
oh my God,
it could also be that the hole is just making them go insane, which is also cool.
It could be releasing some sort of deep earth gas.
To be sold in the Hallows. Its climax features a man who takes a a scythe and lights it on fire, and is like, "I'm going to get my son." Like,
yes. If you like 30 Days of Night or 30 Days of Night or 30 Days of Night, you will like the Hallows.
Well, on the note of fuck, it's called again. I'd seen an article talking about when playing at Sundance, and people were comparing it to, at least on the quality of horror that it's at, to Hereditary. Saying like this is going to be like 2019's Hereditary.
Okay,
people are going to hate it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
movie fucking sucks.
We're going to be unable to agree on whether it's good or not, which I'm okay with this.
I'm reading the cast, and there's someone who's just cast as it just says it. I'm like,
that's great. That's great. So there is a creature then. That's what that tells us. There's some things going on. Yeah, could be interesting.
Yeah. So more of the story: don't let your children into strange holes.
Don't let your children outside. Lock them in a hyperbaric time chamber.
I'm not correcting myself on that. I'm going to let it linger.
It's God damn it. I'm not saying anything. They're like bait for the largest fish, and it's not going to bite. Nope.
I'm looking at that. I'm seeing a whole lot of Irish people.
Yeah, it's definitely very Irish.
But I'm excited for it. There's a string of horror movies that have come out and are coming out that I haven't seen, and I'm excited for. What was the last two you guys saw? Spring and shit.
Oh, The Endless?
Yes, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you need to watch Spring. Damn it, Arlen. What's the other one that's kind of a pre?
The one with the guys. Yeah. Fucking. I was just talking about this with the other Eric the other day. Fuck.
Why can't I remember what the fuck it is called?
Yeah. Resolution.
Resolution.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
That movie's pretty good. I like that movie.
Yeah. Well, and you need to watch The Endless. Watch Resolution
though. I have that sitting on my Amazon queue right now. Actually.
Yeah.
I tend to wait until there's like a group of horror films that I can sit and blast through, because every time I watch one that's really good, I'm like, yeah, I want more. And then I go looking for one, and the next thing I watch is infinitely disappointing, and I get really upset.
Oh, see, I think I bought Resolution for like super cheap digitally, and then the next day I'm like, well, guess I need to buy The Endless, and my wife and I watched it like a day after that. So yeah.
I saw Insidious 3 and The Boy on the same day, and that was a night and day reaction.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like I said, I love the Insidious movies and I had a good time with it, and then I watched The Boy and I was like, this is aggressively dumb. And then that big idiot stepped out from behind the wall, and I was like,
I have never laughed so hard at anything in my life. It's so
I was like, oh, this is a slasher movie now. This is not what you sold me at all.
I don't know if I told this story on the air. Eric, if you go ahead. But I have.
I was just going to say, I don't want to. Well, I don't want to derail too much. You go ahead, Arlen, then, because mine is
our last story. So I think we can derail for a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead, Arlen.
So I told you guys this. I don't know if I ever told the details, but so I did a presentation in a class about recent horror movies and about indie horror movies. And then a day later, after showing the trailer for The Boy in that class and explaining that this is a bad movie. This is the kind of movie though that super horror fanatics will go see regardless, because that's true. There are people who just see that movie even if it's super bad.
Horror just makes money, essentially.
It doesn't matter. There are people who will see the lowest trash can horror movies. So I was using that as my example of the classier of those movies. And then somebody comes up to me the day after and they're like, yeah, we rented that movie, it was great, I loved it. Me and my girlfriend thought that was the best movie ever. So yeah.
Did you sterilize them right there? Did you give
sterilize her or her girlfriend?
Oh no. It's okay. The little horse. It's fine.
No, neither of them should ever be able to produce children ever.
Both of them getting their master's degrees. One of them in biology, the other in anthropology. So yeah.
I do have a story I told me about his experience in film school. He it's day one of class, and they're going around all right, what's your favorite movie of all time? Of every movie that's ever made, what's your favorite? And they turn them halfway. Some kid stands up and goes, Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
I love that kid though.
I'm imagining a room full of film students going, the fuck did he just say?
That is the confidence it must have took for him to stand up and be like, yeah, Iron Man 2, what of it?
Fuck off.
That's the thing, though. If I was trying to troll somebody, like especially somebody who's really up their own ass, I would say Iron Man 2.
I would go for something like George of the Jungle or something stupid like that.
I would love if that brave soul who said Iron Man 2 is the favorite movie ever was then able to eviscerate everyone else's choice, like with things that actually can be backed up and like make sense. Just like, oh, I like I don't know, the color trilogy or whatever the fuck, and just be like, well, actually, those are very pedantic because of this, and just like,
Batman.
But Iron Man is really pretentious.
But Iron Man 2 is boring. It's got Mickey Rourke, or not Mickey Rourke.
It's got that man is the next George Miller. I'm telling you.
The thing. Oh, go ahead.
Their least favorite movie of all time is something like I saw someone say that their least favorite movie of all time was Up. I was like, A, how you inside, and B, like that is you're telling me that's the worst film, the worst movie I've ever seen in entire existence.
I'm not gonna agree with this person. I will say this. There is a substantial jump down in quality after the first 10 minutes. But it's not the worst movie ever.
No, it's not a bad movie. Like that first 10 minutes is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the rest of it's like
hard to beat.
It's a fun kids movie. It's like
But to circle back to talking about interesting horror, I just picked up Suspiria on Tuesday, and that movie is definitely worth watching. Like I've had a few days.
God, I rented that.
I've had a few days to mull over it, and it's very ambitious, and I think 9 times out of 10 it hits what it's going for. Like
I haven't seen the original so long that I barely have like a memory of it.
I don't think you really need to. I mean, because I went to trusty old Wikipedia to read the description or the plot synopsis of the original Suspiria, and what they're doing with this one is very different. Like it's got some of the similar settings, and that's about it. Like, and if
it's an Evil Dead versus the Evil Dead,
it kind of like it's got similar settings, and it's got some thematic elements that are similar, but outside of that, like it's doing a lot of different things. Like it's also dealing with like grief and survivor guilt and things like that under the guise of a dance school that's run by a coven of witches.
Okay, it's been on my radar. I have to get around to that. I do want to watch the original just so I can have that context too, because I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, and then you can see if the director of the original is correct or incorrect.
Yeah.
I also look at that and go, okay, well that's coming from like an Italian horror master, and those movies are just on a different dimension in terms of how you. Yeah.
And a very different time period, because I mean the movies he was making back then, I don't think would fly nearly as well today.
If I showed someone a Mario Bava slasher film,
oh god, yeah,
and like put it next to Scream, I think they were completely different genres. First of all, like Blood and Black Lace is such a fucking in your face movie.
Like, don't torture a duckling, like things like that.
The New York Ripper, where the villain of the movie actually has like a kazoo voice, like every time he sees me, he goes, wah!
There's one where the medium from Poltergeist, she's a guy's mother and she hypnotizes him to murder, but I can't remember what the fuck it was. And it's from one of like, it might not be one of the Italian masters, but it was one of their like contemporaries at the time. Shit, I can't remember what it is. Yeah. But yeah, it's very different time period and very different interpretation of the horror genre back then.
For those curious, and you want to go like just check out like a slice of horror, like just look at anything from like Argento or Bava or anybody who falls in those categories, and sit and behold the level of violence they can throw at you, whilst backed up by the most aggressive synthesizers you'll ever hear.
Yes. Very
Everything
much so.
is
But it's great. I love
there was a period of time where horror themes all could be played into disco. Even the Day of the Dead theme sounds kind of disco-esque.
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does. Well, that and everybody's acting like they're on really bad coke during that movie. So yeah, it really works well.
Hell yeah.
Everyone's fucking agitated as hell in that movie.
They're agitated, sweating, and yelling. So yeah, they're acting like they're on bad cocaine.
I wrote a single scene in that movie where his eyebrows aren't like touching his line, and he's just like yelling at somebody.
Yep, that movie is basically the crazies.
And he gets ripped apart and screams choke on him. It's awesome. Anyway, I'd be in rap.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to wrap.
It's time to wrap.
Well, I'm Connor McGraw, and I'm here to say, oh no, not that kind of rap. I'm sorry.
I was just looking like the same fucking thing.
I love Fruity Pebbles and a mate.
That's like the go-to square white guy rap verse.
Yep.
I have nothing to plug right now because we got our schedules are just not lining up for Movie Dumpster right now. But next week, totally 100%, we're gonna sit down and record Lawnmower Man, and we're starting to put together a list of other stuff for the next season. I think I'm tripling down on the Frankenstein stuff, and we might do Gothic. Which, hey, if you thought that that the origin of Frankenstein was only Mary Shelley came up with it, well then that story now has an origin story, and it's got Gabriel Byrne, and everybody's on morphine. That's Gothic.
That's probably not that far off from what actually was going on.
Right.
Aaron, where are you going? I'm going to do Laudanum with Shelley, and we're going to have lots of orgies in a big old house.
I'm going to go do cocaine about it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty close to apparently what might have gone on. Like, yeah, there was a whole group of writers that would get together at a mansion and do debaucherous things and workshop ideas. So
chemicals and fuck.
Where the fuck is that movie?
Well, that's Connor's talking about it.
Called Gothic, and it's from 1986.
Hell yeah!
It's not. It's fine. But it's fucking weird. There's no. I don't. The idea
Take
of something
off
like
your 30.
Take off all of your layers of clothing.
I was going to say, take off your 30 petticoats. I'm feeling quite red.
The music video, not the music video, where it looks like a music video for like an 80s power ballad of someone singing in an abandoned house, lots of dust and flowing curtains.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, keep an eye for that. And that's all I have to plug for right now. I keep hyping up Lawnmower Man because at this point, the amount of energy we've dumped into waiting for it is probably going to boil over, and I think we're going to beat the fuck out of that movie.
Kind of like what Joel did to that vagina.
Jesus.
Okay, man.
Holy shit.
Jesus.
Whoa.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Follow that one up.
I don't even know. I don't even. What?
It's like typical. The show and like everyone's trying to do a thing, and Eric's like, "Gross thing."
Technically, that's more factual than gross.
Okay.
Gross.
Damn. Wow. Okay. Lost Horror Podcast. Every single week. On today, Friday, as we're recording this. Our new episode is mine and Eric Sayor's top 10 films of the year. Go give it a listen.
So
tell us
Green
if
Book.
we're wrong. Yeah, Green Book is not a feature.
God.
Spoiler.
God, almost choked. That's so funny.
So yeah. Go do that, and my other plug has Hunter in it, so I'll let him do that one.
Yeah. Okay. So I was a guest on Lost Horror Podcast recently. We were watching movies from our childhood. It went 50% good and 50% bad. Go check that out. Over at Lost Horror Games, we're actually doing something really cool. Emmett is hosting a PlayStation All-Stars tournament type thing. There's a whole thing going on the site. It's really cool. Go follow to participate. You just go on Twitter and follow that account. It's just Lost Horror Games. Lost Hero Games comes out every Monday, I think. That's usually when Emmett gets them up. But yeah, check that stuff out.
Andy fell asleep.
What?
Which one is the one where Andy?
Oh, Andy fell asleep last we was drunk and we were talking about Resident Evil 2, and then he just decided to do talking. Love that guy.
Episode in a row that I'm like, I have to listen to that one.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So yep, check that out. Monster Mash every month. Check that out as well. We're on iTunes, all this stuff. And don't follow me on social media.
This episode of MASH, it's not getting published right now because I forgot at all. That's not what happened at
all. No.
Arlen's like,
never happened.
Because of the existence of this program.
No. That's not the truth.
That's fake news.
Fake news. Hashtag.
God damn it.
Rejected.
Yep. I have an announcement. I've hired Roger Stone. Anyways.
I'm Eric Voracek. You can find me on Instagram _Fedor. There's pictures of dogs and cats and food and comic books. I'm floating around the Phantom Zone. I'm just there. I'm eternally there. Yeah, that's all I got because I got my horrible comment in earlier. So yeah, that's about it. Just Joel just mowing lawns and smashing that puss.
No. Are you saying
eating a girl whole?
Wait, hold on. Are you saying Joel? Job.
Job, I'm sorry. You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Job is mowing those lawns, smashing
kind
that
of does,
puss.
because I don't remember a biblical Joel.
You know, it's
Joel.
In the Bible part 4, I Job to be Joel because it's more approachable. But he smashes that puss.
God said unto thee, Joel, go do my bidding.
Fucking A.
Go crush that vag, Joel.
No, stop. No.
What are we doing here? What is this?
What is this show anymore?
This is It's Time for Bed. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey.